On December 20th, 1943, high above the frozen fields of Germany, an extraordinary encounter took place that would defy all the rules of war. This is the story of how a German fighter ace chose mercy over medals, humanity over hatred, and in doing so, saved the lives of 9 American airmen. It was a cold winter morning when Second Lieutenant Charlie Brown and his crew boarded their B-17 bomber, nicknamed Ye Old Pub. Their target, a German aircraft factory in Bremen. Brown was just 21 years old, flying only his first mission as an aircraft commander. The mission was supposed to be routine, but nothing about this day would be routine. As the formation of bombers approached Bremen, the sky erupted with anti-aircraft fire. Black puffs of flak exploded all around them. Then came the German fighters, Messerschmitt Bf-109s and Foch, Wolfwine 90s, diving through the bomber formation like sharks through a school of fish. The nose cone was blown away. The number 2 engine was knocked out and on fire. The number 4 engine was barely running. The tail gun position was destroyed. The oxygen system was shattered. Half the crew was wounded, but somehow Charlie Brown kept the crippled bomber in the air, unable to keep up with the formation. Ye Old Pub fell behind alone, defenseless and struggling to stay airborne. Brown descended to just 1,000 feet, barely conscious from lack of oxygen and blood loss. The bomber was a sitting duck. Any German fighter pilot who spotted them could claim an easy kill, and one did spot them. Franz Stigler was not just any German pilot. He was an ace with 22 confirmed kills, just one short of earning the Knight's Cross, Nazi Germany's highest military honor. All he needed was one more kill. When Stigler took off from his airfield that December afternoon, he was looking for that final victory. Then he saw Ye Old Pub, barely flying, completely defenseless, trailing smoke. An easy kill. His Knight's Cross was assured. Stigler pulled his Messerschmitt Bf-109 alongside the crippled bomber. He looked into the fuselage through the massive holes torn by German guns. What he saw shocked him. The crew was desperately trying to help their wounded. The tail gunner's position was destroyed, the gunner slumped over, covered in blood. The aircraft was so damaged, Stigler later said it looked like a sieve. In that moment, Franz Stigler made a decision that would haunt and define him for the rest of his life. Instead of shooting, Stigler did something incredible. He flew alongside the American bomber as an escort. He waved at Charlie Brown, trying to get his attention, gesturing for him to land in Germany where his crew could receive medical attention. Brown, terrified and confused, refused. He was going to try to make it back to England. Stigler made another choice. He would protect them. For several long minutes, the German ace flew in formation with the American bomber, protecting them from other German fighters and anti-aircraft guns. When they crossed over the German coastal defenses, Stigler knew the gunners below would open fire on the bomber. He positioned his fighter where the gunners could clearly see his Luftwaffe markings, preventing them from firing at the Americans. At the coastline, over the North Sea, Stigler saluted Charlie Brown, rolled his aircraft, and disappeared back toward Germany. Years later, Stigler explained his decision. His commander and mentor, Gustav Ardel, had once told him, "If I ever see or hear of you shooting at a man in a parachute, I will shoot you myself." To Stigler, the crew of Ye Old Pub were no different than men in parachutes. They were helpless, already defeated. Shooting them would not be combat, it would be murder. If he had reported his actions, he would have been court-martialed and likely executed. So Stigler never told anyone. For decades, he kept this secret. Against all odds, Charlie Brown managed to nurse the crippled B-17 across the North Sea and landed in England. All 9 crew members survived. Brown also kept the encounter secret. He feared no one would believe him, or worse, that revealing a German pilot had spared them might get that pilot killed. For 46 years, Charlie Brown wondered about the German pilot who had saved his life. In 1990, after the Cold War ended, Brown placed an ad in a Combat Pilot Association newsletter, searching for the German pilot who saved my life. Franz Stigler, now living in Canada, saw the ad. He called Brown. Within minutes of talking, comparing details of that December day, they both knew they had found each other. Brown and Stigler met in person in 1990. The former enemies embraced as brothers. They became best friends, attending air shows together, sharing their story, trying to teach the world about honor and humanity in war. Stigler told Brown, "I didn't have a choice. We are all here on this earth for just a short while. I couldn't have lived with myself if I had destroyed that airplane and killed those young men. Charlie Brown and Franz Stiegler remained close friends until their deaths in 2008, incredibly. They died within months of each other. Their story reminds us that even in humanity's darkest moments, in the midst of total war, individuals can choose compassion over cruelty, mercy over medals, and humanity over hatred. On December 20, 1943, 9 American lives hung in the balance at 1,000 feet over Germany. A German ace, 1 kill away from his nation's highest honor, looked into the eyes of his enemy and saw not targets, but human beings. Franz Stiegler chose honor. He chose mercy. And in doing so, he proved that even in war, we never lose our choice to be human. This is the incredible true story of when a German ace saved 9 Americans, and,